Well, the United States has serious strategic interests in the region, and the United States has been playing a role there for a number of years, the second half of the 20th century and now into the 21st century. Well, look, first of all, you have to look at what is motivating the government of Iraq. The government of Iraq is highly influenced by the government of Iran. And in this case, I think it's Iran that's pulling the strings, if you will, in terms of the policy and the position of the government of Iraq. Of course, the United States has good relations with Iraq, and the United States knows how to deal with Iraq as an independent country. We've already shown that if the government of Iraq wants us to leave, as we did in 2011, of course we will leave. The government of Iraq also asked us to come back because of the resurgence or the appearance of IS, of the Islamic State. So we have good relations with the government of Iraq. In this case, the problem is being caused by the demands of the government of Iran. And I think we have to be realistic about the fact that the government of Iran is the one that's really calling the shots in this case. Well, if you're talking about the additional military measures, I'm sure he's talking about further degrading, further attempts to degrade the capabilities of those militias in Iraq, which are attacking U.S. Forces. In terms of other measures, we're talking about sanctions, we're talking about financial sanctions, we're talking about travel sanctions. There's a whole basket of sanctions that can be imposed on both individuals and organizations. Well, look, the question of these militia groups is extremely complicated. These militia groups owe their allegiance, first of all, to Iran. They're also part of the Iraqi security apparatus. So it's a very difficult issue. Eliminating them would mean cutting off the influence of Iran. That's a very difficult proposition. As I said before, one has to look at the role that Iran is playing in this situation. Iraq has given up some of its sovereignty to the control of Iran. Iran's the one that's writing all these communiques for the Iraqis. And I think it's shocking that the Iraqi prime minister is playing this game with Iran. So before you can talk about sovereignty from in Iraq, Iraqi sovereignty, you've got to realize that Iraq is not capable of exercising its sovereignty because of this huge influence that Iran has over the government. Well, first of all, you have to understand that Iran is there. Iran is present in the area, and the United States and the Europeans are not. Iran has many proxies, and they have the capability of supplying those proxies and provisioning those proxies with arms and money. So this is a question of intent and how to deal with Iran in this situation. Now, Iran has a huge desire to be the dominant force in the whole Middle East region, and that's the game it's playing now by using its proxies. Some are saying that it doesn't have complete control over its proxies, and that includes Hamas. I don't buy that. I think Iran has a large measure of control over all of its proxies, and Iran is going for the big prize, which is to be recognized to become the hegemon, the single most important player in the Middle East. And this is something that the United States and the Europeans are going to have to deal with. Well, Iran has already shown that it has really big influence in five countries: Lebanon, Syria, Afghanistan, Yemen, and Libya. Um, and so dealing with those countries is difficult enough, but having Iran standing behind them, telling them what to do is a very difficult proposition. President Biden has been trying to bring Iran back into a regular relationship through the nuclear agreement. We had that, um, and we don't have it anymore. So that's one goal, is to convince the Iranians to come back and be a responsible member of the international community by cooperating with the International Atomic Energy Agency and the rest of the world community. Well, that's what we call in English a $64,000 question. The Iranians have managed to carve themselves out a role. I think you can say that one of the weaknesses of the nuclear agreement was that Iran was not held to account for its regional activities and its regional responsibilities. Um, in 2011, when the nuclear agreement started to be negotiated, Iran was begging for the international community to enter into this agreement. Well, things are different now, and Iran isn't quite so interested. Iran is in a much better shape politically and economically, and that's something we have to deal with. Well, I don't think you can say at all that the attacks by the IRGC and other surrogates in Iraq uh, uh, are independent. Iran is doing this. Iran is exciting these entities to attack American interests. Now, Iran has added another layer of goals, in the sense that they're now saying that they want the United States to leave the region. Um, well, in my view, that's a wholly unrealistic expectation. But Iran isn't leaving any room for negotiations, for diplomatic practices, and so I don't know how you can stop what's happening, because the Iranians have no interest, and they obviously don't have very much pressure to do that.